Welcome to Dark Truths. Religion Uncovered. In T-Space, we explore the intricate bond between ancient faith and modern certainty. Tonight, we're diving into a pivotal shift in religious history, the moment doubt transformed from a sacred path into a forbidden threat. In the ancient world, doubt wasn't the enemy of faith. It was often seen as its very source. Think about the foundational figures of our faith traditions. They all openly wrestled with their doubts. Abraham questioned God's plans. Moses argued with the divine, demanding justice. King David poured out his anguish and uncertainty in the Psalms, and Job cried out so fiercely for answers that God himself responded. These icons of faith weren't punished for their doubts, they were celebrated for them. Their struggle was proof of their engagement. But today, the landscape has changed. Doubt is often treated like an infection to be stamped out. Believers are told to stand firm, to silence doubt and build a fortress around their beliefs. This might feel safe, but ancient wisdom would call it fear disguised as confidence. When you outlaw doubt, faith hardens into dogma, becoming rigid and suffocating. The truth is, faith, as presented in the scriptures, was never about absolute certainty. Faith exists precisely because we don't have all the answers. If God's existence were as obvious as the sun and the sky, faith would be meaningless. Doubt isn't the opposite of faith. It's the fertile ground where faith grows. So why do so many modern religious institutions see doubt as a danger? Because it can challenge the structures that hold communities together. Institutional clarity often comes at the price of individual inquiry. Doubt gets rebranded as a threat, instead of an invitation to go deeper. Ancient theologists saw it differently. Faith without doubt is just an unexamined assumption. The patriarchs believed without clear answers. The prophets spoke without guarantees. And even Jesus himself expressed a moment of profound doubt on the cross. And that moment was preserved as a vital part of the story. Today, many are encouraged to project an image of unshakable confidence. Doubt becomes a private shame instead of a sacred part of the journey. But suppressing doubt doesn't make it go away. It just pushes it into the shadows, where it can quietly eat away at the foundations of belief. This is why some modern expressions of faith can suddenly collapse. They look strong until they are faced with suffering, contradiction, or unanswered prayer. Then, they shatter. The ancient faith, in contrast, was built to withstand tension and mystery. Doubt was the engine that drove a deeper trust, not as an enemy to be killed. True loyalty to God isn't about being certain of his ways. It's about continuing the pursuit of him, even in the midst of ambiguity. The book of Ecclesiastes is filled with unresolved tension. Job never gets the explanation he craves. The prophets often met with tragic ends. Faith endures not because all questions are answered, but because the seeker kept seeking. When doubt becomes forbidden, faith becomes brittle. It can't adapt or deepen. Ancient wisdom teaches us that doubt refines faith by stripping away our illusions. Modern belief often tries to protect those illusions by silencing the questions. But illusions are fragile, and when they break, only two things can happen. Belief either matures into something real, or just disappears completely. This might be an uncomfortable truth, but it's also a liberating one. Doubt is not the enemy of faith. A faith that can't survive doubt isn't a strong faith. It's just a fragile one. And a God who can't handle our questions isn't a God at all, but just an idea we've created ourselves. So, let me leave you with a question. Ancient faith would ask us today, if doubt is a threat to your belief, what is your belief actually built on? Thanks for joining us. Let us know in the comments, does doubt weaken faith, or does it reveal whether faith was ever truly alive? Don't forget to like and subscribe for more dark truths.